Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to this appcast. Oh, we've got the little KSAT 12 bug there too. It says 2:05. All right, it is 2:05 this afternoon, and we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for areas in eastern and southeastern Bexar County. This is in effect until 2:45 for the potential for some quarter-sized hail. Meteorologist Mia Montgomery is here with me. We're keeping track of this storm. It could contain some quarter-sized hail, and it's moving very slowly to the northeast at about 15 miles an hour. We can zoom into some areas that could be getting some hail right now. Areas like just to the southeast of East Central High School. We can get down into a street view here. So right at Stewart Road, right as you're coming up to East Central High School, the potential is there for some quarter-sized hail. Anything larger than the size of quarters is considered severe and could do some damage to property or create injuries. There's a lot of lightning with this storm, but it's moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. So even though if you're in Bexar County and you got an issuance for the warning, this is not for areas north of southeastern Bexar County. So areas in downtown San Antonio is fine. Alamo Heights, San Antonio International Airport, all of those areas are okay and out of the risk for some severe weather at the moment. But this severe thunderstorm, again, capable of producing up to quarter-sized hail and very heavy rain where the rain is falling. So if you're joining us, hearing thunder, seeing lightning from this storm, but not actually getting rain, this is the reason why. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the potential threats here. And again, up to quarter-sized hail possible in this pink color right over Calaveras Lake. That's where the hail is possible. If you are getting hail right now, a good thing to do is to wait till the hail passes, but remember the time, 2:07, and the date, March 15th, and write that down. Take pictures for insurance purposes if you do end up having any kind of damage from this storm. It's a very small storm. It really only covers about a few miles here of the potential for some hail, only about 10 miles, which on the grand scheme of things is a pretty small storm. In the main area of the hail core potential, and even in China Grove, we could be seeing some hail right now. This is moving northeast at 15 miles per hour, as I mentioned. So if we put a track on that, see if we can do it. All right. It could get to the New Berlin area by 3:15 this afternoon. So any updates, Mia, from the National Weather Service about this storm?
The only thing that they're really popping on is saying is that the rain rates are also very, very
Yes.
high. So that's probably going to reduce visibility on roadways and things of that nature.
I'm really glad you mentioned the rain rates here, Mia, because as we zoom in here, this is a slow-moving storm that is producing a ton of rain. So that means quick accumulations of rainfall. If this storm was just to park itself over East Central High School for an hour, it would drop 5 to 7 inches of rainfall. Now, it's not going to be over this area for an hour, but it could easily produce 1 to 2 inches of rain here before all is said and done. And that would lead to some ponding on the roads, things like that. Thank you, Mia. That is a great point to point out here.
Of course.
Again, we'll go ahead and go back to the radar. A lot of lightning with this system, too. We can, in fact, count the lightning strikes. 56 lightning strikes within this one storm alone. It is a lot of lightning for one storm. And it's pretty tall as well. In fact, we can go ahead and look at the heights of it. It's pretty tall because it's producing hail. So as the storm system produces an updraft, it takes all of that water, lofts it high up into the air, forms ice, and that's what hail is. It's balls of ice that have been up high in the atmosphere. They get too heavy, they fall to the ground, they can cause some damage. So again, we'll go ahead and turn off the lightning just so that you can get a better picture of this storm itself and look at the warning area. Severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45 for areas like Martinez, China Grove. Elmendorf, I think you're in the clear right now. Losoya in the clear as well, but areas this storm is kind of splitting and redeveloping another cell to the north of it between China Grove and Martinez. This is another area that we could see some of the hail. It's moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. I know we were talking about New Berlin just a little while ago, but we can also track this tiny little lob of hail here northeast. That could be in areas like Schertz by about 315 as well. So that's if it holds on and moves a little bit more to the north. It could be near the Schertz area, crossing that I-35 corridor. By the way, if you ever find yourself caught in a severe storm that's hailing and you're driving, do not go under overpasses. That's the worst thing you can do. That's the most dangerous thing you can do. The best thing to do is find the nearest exit and just go to a gas station or something like that with an awning. If you go underneath an overpass, you may end up causing more issues. Let's take a wider view here because, yes, this is the only storm that is technically severe at the moment, but we do have some more storms off to the east. Now, there is one severe storm up in LaGrange. That's just outside of our viewing area, but something we'll keep an eye on. Out in Gonzales, there's a few showers and storms as well, but this is the main area of storminess that we're seeing across San Antonio. And one thing I like to do is I like to show the structure of these storms. Whenever we have hail, I mentioned that the storm grows pretty tall. Here's the 3D view of the storm. It's some 40 to 50,000 feet. That's how tall it's growing. Now, these storms that grow that tall usually only produce up to quarter-sized hail, which is what we're seeing. And it's a possibility later on today, if storms develop and they're up to 60,000 feet high, things like that, they could end up producing even larger hail, which is a possibility for some locations later on today. So this is the only severe storm we have, moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Areas like Palo Alto College, downtown San Antonio International Airport, Hollywood Park, you're in the clear, no issues there. But if you are in areas like St. Hedwig, New Berlin, even Seguin, if this storm holds on, again, it's moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. The rain could start for you by about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and severe weather could begin potentially by about 3:30. So we'll keep an eye on that storm. What I want to talk about here is I want to talk about the rest of our day as we are watching for severe weather for the rest of the day. Oh, did we get a picture?
We sure did. So
Okay.
let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, let me bring it up here. We got a picture on our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. Let's see. No.
I can always grab the graphic if you want.
Let's see. Usually it's, oh, there. I think that's it.
There you go.
Okay, let's take a look at KSAT Connect.
Oh,
No.
it's the wrong source.
Oh, try to change the input there for us. That would be helpful.
Here.
Okay,
Let me
this is
really
the
quickly bring this up.
Apple app. And then there's a QR code on there too.
Yeah, I'm going to take that off. All right, so all right. Well,
Let's try to see this.
let me see if we can get this up for you guys. There we go.
Thanks, Mia. Appreciate it. So this is out 181 in South Foster. This is a part of the storm that moved through that was not severe. So you can see that she posted some smaller hail. This looks to me to be the size of less than dimes, so about pea-sized hail. Yeah, that is entirely possible with that storm, but I think it also is producing slightly larger hail than that too. Thank you so much for sending in that picture to our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. Any more pictures, let us know, post them onto KSAT Connect. Mia, you have a couple more?
That is the one that I have right now.
Okay, great, awesome. Let
me get you back over to, this is your links. We're gonna change that on the banner.
I think I got, there we go. Okay. So once again, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2:45 for areas like Elmendorf, Calaveras Lake, Lone Oak, Adkins, St. Hedwig, Martinez. China Grove just saw a little bit of hail as well. In the extreme northeastern part of Bexar County, right where 1604 and I-10 meet. We will keep an eye on that storm. For now, though, I do want to talk about our weather setup for the remainder of the day today. You can see that here we go. There we go. Okay, so this is the setup. This is what we're dealing with right now. We have a cold front that has stalled out over San Antonio, and it's along that front that we'll start to see a few storms pop up. That's exactly what happened with this storm that's working its way through the Elmendorf area. You can actually see the top of the thunderstorm developing there. That's where that storm started, and it's moving northeast. There's also storms that are starting off at the border. You can see out in the mountains of Mexico, we've got some storminess starting there too, so we'll be watching those to see if they track to the east. Generally, the further north you are, the less chance of severe weather you have. So areas like Kerrville, Fredericksburg, Rock Springs, you're too far north of that cold front to see much severe weather today. San Antonio is kind of right on the edge, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And there is a severe thunderstorm watch for all of the KSAT 12 viewing area until 8 p.m. Now, if it was up to me, if I drew this watch, and this was drawn by the awesome folks at the Storm Prediction Center, if it was up to me, I probably would say if the vast majority of Kerrville and Kerr County, you're okay. The vast majority of Rock Springs, Edwards County, you're okay. And notice that Austin is not in this watch as well. But those of us in San Antonio, that watch is in effect until 8 p.m. So here's what you can expect as far as your KSAT 12-hour forecast goes. Increasing rain chances in the later afternoon and early evening hours with the potential for severe weather. And when we talk about severe weather, we're talking mainly about the potential risk for hail, as we can see with that storm that's out in southeastern and eastern Bexar County. That's the biggest potential. Then we have gusty winds of up to 60 miles per hour as a possibility. Some localized flooding is possible. And even if you don't get rain today, we have continued storm chances Saturday and Sunday. All right, let's go back to the radar. There it is. Okay. Let's see. All right. I want to point out, as Mia was mentioning earlier, the amount of rain that's falling here is impressive. What we're going to do is we're going to turn off the warning so that you can see this better. And then we're going to look at just how much rain has fallen from this storm system. I know it says the 12-hour rainfall, but this is more like the hour to 2-hour rainfall. Take a look. 37 and 181. 2.5 inches of rain. 181 in Calaveras Lake. Our friend who sent in that picture of the hail was at 1604, and 181 about 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. So where the heaviest of the rain is falling, a lot of rain is falling. We're seeing up to 2 inches of radar estimated rain there. Very impressive rainfall amounts. Here in San Antonio, though, and up near the airport, we've only seen 1/100th of an inch of rainfall from some showers and storms earlier. I do not think we're having a ton of gusty winds with this. We might be seeing gusty winds of up to 40 miles per hour at the moment, but yeah, not a really impressive when it comes to the gusty winds, but there still could be some localized hail just northwest of Calaveras Lake.
Yep, we did get a pretty nice video in from what I assume is the southeast side.
Oh yeah, let's check it out.
Let me pull this up here. Just some good rain. We've been talking about lowered visibilities and things like that, but...
And you can see the hail too.
You can, just kind of bouncing off there.
That to me looks like it's pea-sized hail.
Yeah, probably somewhere close to that. But again, everybody who's sitting in these safely, of course, can't thank you enough. It really helps us get a good idea of what is actually happening out there.
Look at that street ponding.
Yep, and that's something too, you know, within these thunderstorms, heavy rain, as Sarah has been talking about. So yeah, that could cause some of that ponding, a few issues out there, especially in construction sites, low-lying, poor drainage areas, things of that nature. So if you know that your route home or out and about typically has some of those common trouble spots, that's just something to be aware of, especially on the southeast side where we are seeing this heavy rainfall, just because that is clearly what we've been seeing on these KSAT Connect videos and what is actually happening out there within these thunderstorms. The only other thing I did want to mention is that the National Weather Service also dropped the speed even more so. They're saying that it's moving eastward more of about 10 miles per hour.
It's very slow. And also, Mia, I'm noticing that it's pulsing down.
It is.
Meaning it's weakening. So if we can go back to the radar, it is weakening significantly. I'll go ahead and put it in motion so you can see over time. It was much stronger right at around 2 o'clock, and then it's weakening as we speak. Now, that's not to say it won't strengthen again. These storms tend to pulse up and pulse down pretty sporadically, but I will say it's probably more so along the lines of nickel-sized hail than quarter-sized hail from what I'm seeing. But we do have that severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45, so for the next 20 minutes or so. Starting to move into parts of northern Wilson County, Livonia, even into southern Guadalupe County nearer to New Berlin.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to switch off for a little bit so you give yourself a little bit of a break?
Let's let Mia. She's a little taller than me. So.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Not
bit.
by much,
Not
though.
by much.
Not by much. So
No.
yeah, if you were just joining us, hopping on, especially southeastern Bexar County, even far northern Wilson County near Livonia, right along Highway 87, and western Guadalupe County, as Sarah was saying, you're hearing some thunder. We do have this strong storm that is still severe warned. It popped up over southern Bexar County close to 45 minutes to an hour ago. And it's been very, very slow to move. But as Sarah mentioned, it does look like it has been pulsing down. So a lot of times with these thunderstorms, they go through cycles. They'll start to ramp up. We see these darker reflectivity values where you're seeing some of the pinks there just south of Lone Oak, near Calaveras Lake as well. That's where we still could be seeing a little bit of that hail. At the most up to quarter size, but probably more to the tune of nickel size. Here's Calaveras Lake for reference, Highway 181, right before you get to the 37 interchange there. Let's zoom this in so you really get a good idea of where this is. So again, Calaveras Lake, here's Foster Road, Hildebrandt Road as well. Little bit of that hail certainly still possible. This looks like it's a little slow today.
Why don't we, it's probably calibrated still for me.
Probably so. Here, I'm going to go ahead and step off really quickly, and then we're going to recalibrate this so that our hand tracking is a little bit quicker for us here. But yeah, so we still have a severe warned storm far southeastern Bexar County, and this goes until 2:45 p.m. It was warned for the potential.
Hey guys in the back, can you zoom in just a little bit?
Just a little bit if you guys can hear us in the back, just to help us out with our hand tracking software here. But yeah, so this runs until 2:45 officially. So we've got about 22 minutes left on this warning, but Spivey mentioned a little bit earlier that it does appear to be weakening just a touch. So what I'm gonna do, at least for now, so that I can get it in frame for you guys, so y'all can actually see what we're talking about while we kind of work out some of these issues on the backside. Let me see. There we go. There it is. All right. So Adkins, Lone Oak, St. Hedwig, you are still technically included in this warning, but even places like New Berlin, Jake's Colony, right there along 123 in Guadalupe County, even Zool, right along the Guadalupe-Bexar County line, starting to see some of that moderate to even heavy rain work in, but that part of the storm is not necessarily severe. So we did get some photos into KSAT Connect a little bit earlier from Foster Road, 181, out there in southeastern Bexar County of potentially some pea-size hail. I think we're back ready to rock and roll. We certainly are. There we go. See, we just had to fix it in the backside. We got it now. Okay, so yes, New Berlin, you've got some heavy rain just to the south of you. St. Hedwig, more of that as well. But again, the hail threat is near Lone Oak, just south of Lone Oak, near East Central High School, really where we're seeing these pinks and purples. Here's 1604 South, Highway 87, I know there's a Bill Miller right over here. That is where we have some of that nickel to quarter size at most hail potentially falling near Calaveras Lake as well. 181, Hildebrandt, South Foster Road, right in this area where we are seeing some of those pinks. That's where we've got the potential for still a little bit of hail. Everybody else in San Antonio, though, as I zoom this out, you can see we are in the clear. Nothing really of note besides maybe a few sprinkles out there. This is by far the storm that is packing more of that punch. And we'll take a look at the rain rates in just a second. But I do want to zoom over here to Gonzales County as well, in between Gonzales and Smiley, south of Cost. Just to the north and east of Pilgrim and east of Wrightsboro, we do have another storm here that might be dropping a little bit of P to nickel size hail once again where you are seeing some of these pinks here. Let's see if we can zoom in and get a better look at our roadway. So FM 1116 in between 1116 and County Road 192 over there in Gonzales County.
Yeah, that storm looks even a little bit more intense.
Yeah, it looks like it's pulsing up a little bit more. So we're going to keep eyes on that one for southern Gonzales County. If you are in the city of Gonzales, let me turn the lightning on here. You might be hearing some thunder from that. It's just south of you. And as we put this into motion, this is taking somewhat of a northeasterly track here. It's kind of starting to move farther up to the northeast. So let me put a storm track on that one too. Let's see what we could find. Overall, they're not moving too terribly fast, by about 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to need to probably change those storm track settings in just a bit. But you know what I can do really quickly? If this continues on, it'll reach the 90 corridor, closer to 240, 245. Just after that for the Dilworth area as well, closer to about 245. So we're going to keep eyes on this storm in southern Gonzales County. Again, here's 183 right here. It's headed for the 183 corridor just because it does look to be pulsing up a little bit more. There could be some nickel-sized hail in that one as well. And then near Hallettsville, nothing severe, little downpour just south of Hallettsville over there in Lavaca County. But this storm, let's revisit the one in southeastern Bexar County as well. Again, we've got some of that moderate to heavy rain spewing over near places like New Berlin, Jake's Colony, just to the north of Lavernia. The far northern tip of Wilson County seeing some of that heavy rain. Here's Carpenter, here's Highway 87, St. Hedwig, Adkins. Right now, you're mainly just seeing rain, where we still have that potential for hail near Lone Oak, near and south of East Central High School, and near Calaveras Lake. The far western edge of this storm crossing over Highway 181, it's moving very, very slowly. Let's put this back into motion. So you can just see kind of how it blossomed up in far southern Bexar County, in between 1604 and 410 there. And it has just been slowly working its way over 181 into southeastern Bexar County. It's been pulsing up a bit where we have some of those pinks and purples right there. That's where that hail threat is. It does look to be on the downward trend, but heavy rain, that's something we haven't talked about in just a second. Let's look at the heavy rain rates, because that was something that the National Weather Service was monitoring too, especially for those that might be hitting the roadways soon. I know a lot of folks getting excited to kick off the weekend, second weekend of spring break for many. These pinks that you're seeing, we'll sample those. Upwards of 5 to 7 inches per hour. So that is very, very heavy rain. And essentially what these numbers mean, if this storm were to just sit in place where it is right now, it wouldn't move. This is how much rain would fall in these locations. It is moving very slowly, but we did have some KSAT Connect videos come in showing already some ponding on the sides of roadways. We mentioned a little bit earlier, if your route home from work typically takes you through construction sites out on this side of town, maybe some of those low-lying poor drainage areas, some creeks as well that typically have some issues, just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you do come across some issues, make sure to turn around and find an alternate route just so that you can get to where you need to be. You know, we love the rain, we need the rain, we don't like the severe weather threat that comes with it. So hopefully this storm continues to pulse down and we're just dealing with some heavy rain. Anything new from the National Weather Service, Sarah?
Nothing new from the National Weather Service, but I agree with you, Mia. I think this storm is probably sub-severe at the moment.
Just looking at the reflectivity values and how this thing has kind of pulsed up and then pulsed down, that's the good news. It looks to be on the downward trend. Not to say that it can't pulse up again as well, as Sarah was mentioning a little bit earlier, but you see just here in the past hour, in some of these frames, we've got more of those pinks and purples, and then they're starting to come down, and of course they're fewer and far between now. That is good news when it comes to the hail threat. Not to say, what was that, Sarah? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I wonder if we put the threats on there.
Yeah, let's see what they say.
If it'll trend down.
Here we go.
Oh, but it pulls back up.
Look at that, right as we said that. So this is another way to look at it, especially where and sometimes this tool does overestimate things just a little bit, but let's see if we can get that to, there we go. Yeah, this might be overestimating it just a touch. I think at most we're probably looking at quarter size 1-inch hail, but it is very localized. But let's put this actually into motion and see what it looks like. Pulsing up, pulsing down, but yes, pulsing up just yet again, as Sarah was mentioning. Let's turn this back over. Not the rain rates. Let's go back to the radar. See, there we go. So, Knowlton Road, Stewart Road, here's New Sulphur Springs. That connects 410 to 1604. It takes you through the Adkins area on the southeast side. This is where these higher reflectivity values are. That's where we could once again be seeing some of that nickel to quarter size hail. And you know what I actually want to try to do really quickly? Let's see if we can take this 3D. Let me turn off our lightning. Let's do this. Let's draw us a little box. There we go. Let's move our box just a second over here. Now we're going to do this. We're going to tilt it. Oh,
There's
yeah.
the hail core.
There's our hail core. Exactly. So you can see this is a pretty awesome tool because it allows us to fly in to the storm. You can see that hail, how far up it's being taken into that thunderstorm, that cumulonimbus cloud, if you will. Oh, I think our box just moved. Let's see here. Let's move this back. There we go. So Calaveras Lake is right here. This is now to the east of Calaveras Lake. This is in between Calaveras Lake and Lone Oak. East Central High School is right here. New Sulphur Springs Road is right here. So that hail core near Stewart Road, it's going to be crossing over New Sulphur Springs Road here. If it's not already crossing over, it's going to be doing so in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So this is just another way to visualize that hail core, where it's falling and how far up it extends into those thunderstorm clouds. Pretty cool to look at. But yes, if you were still in this area, by all means, stay indoors, wait for this to pass you by, just because, again, it's east of Calaveras Lake now. Calaveras Lake, you are still dealing with the heavy rain in areas right around the lake, but this is generally working farther up to the east, and that's going to be heading closer to the Lone Oak area here pretty soon. Switch you back over to radar. Looks like we just got a new scan.
Oh, this one is strengthening.
It is. So
sure.
As we were talking about, remember these storms, they pulse down and they pulse back up. Now it's pulsing back up. So near East Central High School, let me go ahead and put the latest storm track on this one as well. Are we still thinking east, northeast at 10 to 15?
I think that's it.
Okay, that's what we're going to do.
It's barely moving. I can adjust the ETA if you want me to.
That would be so wonderful. Let me step off real quickly so that she can do that. It's another little tool that we can use to tell folks maybe that are even outside of our storm track range, maybe over an hour if this thing holds together. But again, it is moving very, very slowly.
And I believe they just updated the warning.
Did they?
Yeah, let me do this real quick. Okay, go for it.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we're saying that this is estimating moving to the east-northeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So we'll start with this storm track first, and we'll really time out the hail portion of it. Let's move it up there at about, all right. That didn't really show up anything, did it? Let's use the ETA tool.
Yeah,
that might be a little bit better.
That's at 15.
All right, so let's say it continues on. Adkins reaching your area by about 2:45, so you've got about 10 minutes before some of that hail makes it to your neck of the woods. St. Hedwig by about 3 o'clock, so in about 25 minutes, that hail core could make it into your area as well. And if we took this even farther, again, it's moving pretty slowly, so we're going to have to see how well this thing holds together. But New Berlin, so now we're talking closer to the Guadalupe-Bexar County line, closer to 320 to 325 there as well. So potentially 50 minutes, even to another hour. But a lot can change within that time frame. So we're just going to need to monitor if it continues to either pulse up or pulse down, or maybe both. But New Berlin, Seguin, some of that light rain stretching over as well.
We have not gotten any new pictures from KSAT Connect, so if you are in that severe thunderstorm warning and you can safely, after the hail passes, get out there and let us know what you're seeing, that would be great. National Weather Service says probably small hail with that storm in Gonzales, which makes sense. But yeah, that storm out across Bexar County is really starting to pulse back up again for sure.
Yep, getting a little stronger here in the past couple of scans. So what Sarah was just talking about, the Gonzales County storm that we've been keeping tabs on. Again, here's the latest on that. This is 183, Somerville Cost. This is south and east of you. But this is going to be closing in on the Highway 90 corridor here over the next 30 minutes. This is also moving somewhat slower, but where we're seeing some of these pink reflectivity values, that's where we could be seeing some of that small hail. So once again, let me see if I can just get you another street view. County Road 292, County Road 192, just west of 289 there. I love those rural areas because it's just county road, county road, county road. 306, 1116, as we were talking about earlier, just really where we're seeing some of these pinks here. That's where we could be finding some small hail, just south of Somerville, south of Gonzales, but I'm sure it's plenty noisy out there too. Take a look at the lightning count on this particular storm. In the past 30 minutes, 51 lightning strikes, 5 of which are the positive lightning strikes. So those are the big boomers out there. Those are the ones that you really can hear out there.
Great.
All right, guys.
I can go ahead and take over and give a forecast for the rest of the afternoon.
Great
if
idea.
You'd like a little.
Great idea.
Yeah, let's focus back real quick here on this storm system that Mia was talking about. This is the severe thunderstorm that is right on 1604 there on the east side. 1604 likely seeing at least some pretty large hail. You can see as we zoom in to these areas, as Mia was mentioning, just south of Lone Oak, right along 1604. This is in this black color. This is where we've really got potentially the largest of the hail. This is moving northeast at only 15 miles per hour. And by the way, it's still in effect until about 2:45, but I have a feeling if it continues to pulse back up, the National Weather Service may, in fact, extend that time frame. And then we've got one storm out in Gonzales County, which is technically not severe. I want to check off to the west real quick because any other storms that develop out west may be able to track all the way east. There is one very strong storm here in the mountains of Mexico, west of Maverick County. If this storm can hold on, it'll be interesting to see how far east it can go because there is so much in the way of moisture and fuel for that other storm that's all the way out there. And this is the reason why we're seeing some storms develop. We've got a cold front that is stalled across San Antonio. This front is what is allowing for a few showers and storms to pop up. The further north you go, the less likely you are to see any severe weather. Although we do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m. A watch means we're watching for severe weather. We're keeping our eye on it. If you get a warning, like those folks out in eastern Bexar County, a warning means you should take action. You should stay inside, away from windows. As we look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, here we are. We're right here. Severe storms are possible, and they're happening for areas in eastern Bexar County. We'll have that potential through the evening, but by the overnight hours, our severe weather potential really goes down. And we'll still have some showers and storms, but it'll be a lot. It will not we will not have much more of a severe weather threat in the overnight hours. Hail is the biggest possibility today, as we've seen so far. And even if you don't get rain today, our rain chances continue into the weekend. Tomorrow we have a 60% chance for scattered showers and storms. And on Sunday we have a 50% chance of scattered showers and storms. We've seen a couple of pictures sent in through our KSAT Connect feature. This smaller hail was 181 in South Foster. Thank you, Mia.
Sorry, trying to get that to load for you.
Thank you.
There we go.
There it is. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for sending in that picture. If you've got more pictures, please let us know. This is a really awesome video of some of that smaller hail with the very heavy rain that Mia was mentioning. That hail is pretty small, as you can see, but the ponding on the road's still a big issue. And then we've had one more video sent in out at Lavernia, where they are waiting for the rain. In Lavernia, it's going to rain here very shortly for you. And in fact, you may actually see some hail pretty soon. As we go back to the radar, let's go ahead and take a look at where that one storm system is still right now, all the way out. It's moving more due east than northeast, and it is pulsing down as we speak. So this one hail core, if it was to hold together, ETA 15 miles an hour, it would make it to you, Lavernia, by about 3:06. So you got about 20 minutes. Stay inside, away from windows. This storm is on its way out of Bexar County. We just wanted to give you an idea that we're going to continue to keep you posted. We're going to continue to do these appcasts as need be throughout the rest of the day today. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and in this appcast let our folks from behind the scenes continue to get things together for our shows later on today. And of course, keep that KSAT Weather Authority app handy, because we will go live if we need to for the remainder of the afternoon.